morning, everybody. I'm having a little trouble with my Jeep. Take a look, and as you can see, the clutch pedal is to the floor and dead. I've finally diagnosed the problem. Under the front, you have a master cylinder that holds brake fluid. They use it as hydraulic fluid. You look all around it, the paint's all peeling, and she's just shot. The problem was the former owner, because I checked this several times because I was having trouble with the clutch. It actually has a rubber boot under the cap, just like the brake master cylinder, and this expands as the fluid goes down to take up the airspace, but it was fully expanded into a cup, and when they added fluid they just dumped it in the top of this rubber cup and assumed it was full. So I just kept torturing it till finally it blew the clutch master cylinder. So I'm going up to the auto hospital to buy some parts and run a few more errands, and just because I don't have a clutch doesn't mean you're stranded. So I'm going to try to demonstrate so I'm going to try to demonstrate how to drive a stick shift vehicle with no clutch. We'll turn you back on in a few when I get you situated. Alright, I think I got you situated good enough. Let me get my seatbelt on, because once you start it up, you're in action. Now, unless your linkage is broke, you always got a teeny bit of clutch, but you won't be able to get it in the gear if the motor is started. So you got to put it in your, especially with first and reverse. Oh great, now it won't work. There, alright, I got it in reverse. I got my clutch depressed all the way. That will give me a little bit of slippage. So I'm checking to make sure the road is clear. I'm going to start the vehicle, and we will be moving when I start it. The rest of the shifting is just about RPMs. Once I back out of the driveway, I'll have to turn it off to get it in the first gear. And then I'll start and take off. And from first to second, you got to keep the RPMs pretty low, but it will, you put a little tension on the gear shift when you're ready to come out of first, and when you let go of the gas, not just ease up on it, totally let go of it, it will drop out of gear, and then you can pop it right into second. Usually it works pretty smooth. Sometimes there's a hair of grinding. And then from second to third, you get it up close to 3 grand. And again, put tension to come out of gear, and as you let off the gas, it will pop out, move it over, and then drop it right up into third. Here we go. See, the clutch is fully depressed. I'm pumping the brake. Nobody's coming. Turn it off. Put it into first. Here we go. Right into second. I'm on a dirt road and it's kind of bumpy, so it's at about 2 grand, 2,500. I got tension, let go. Here comes a big bump, and you can see it. As you can see, it popped right into third. Now coming up to the stop sign, I'm going to ease up to it, and as I get close, right now I'm pulling it in the second. There it goes. It dropped right in because we were at the right RPMs. Jam it up into first. Dropped right in. Nobody coming. We're out of here. Dropped right in the second. Right in the third. Get it up to about 3 grand. In the fourth. No clutch at all, piece of cake. Alright, I'm going to go to the auto parts. I'll turn you back on in a minute. Alright, I'm coming up to a light. I'm going to need to go from 4th to 3rd. Yep, turn red on me. Well, actually, I'm going to turn in the gas station. Pop it out of 4th. I'm just pushing against 3rd. And I had to pop the gas just a little bit to let it drop in. Now it dropped right in the 2nd because we're going to the right RPMs. I got to find an open gas pump. So as we approach the pump, I'll just shut it off and let it chug to a stop. Right on the spot. All right, let me get some gas and then I'll turn you back on. All right, here we go into traffic. Had to shut her down, we got cars coming. So I'll just sit here a minute and wait for a clearing. Turn the key and go. Auto parts is right here. So that's pretty convenient. Now I can pop it into neutral. There we go. Home sweet home. Don't forget to put it in gear when you park. Alright, I'm going in to get my auto parts. Be right back. Hey, guess what? They didn't have my part at this store. But on the good side, they got it about 14 miles down the road, so now the only trouble I've had was shifting this without a clutch. 3 grand, 4th gear. Is getting it into 5th gear for some reason. Having trouble with that. I don't know if I'm not getting enough RPMs or what, but I can do 60 comfortably in 4th gear. So, alright, I got about 12 miles to drive. I'm going to go up here and cut over on some dirt roads, so I'll shut you off till we're on the way home. But just because your clutch goes out, as long as the linkage isn't broke, doesn't mean you have to be stranded. So that was kind of my point. So off we go to the auto parts. I'll turn you back on in a while. Alright, I'm on a little straight piece of road here. I'll demonstrate how to downshift. Right now I'm in 3rd. I'm going to drop it down to 2nd. Just like put a little tension on it when you let off the gas. Pull it out of 3rd. I'm slowing down a little bit. You pop the gas to get the R's up. I'm putting pressure against 2nd gear. Drops right in. Downshifting takes a little bit more practice. So, you know, if you're stuck and you have to drive it for a while, go out on the back roads and go up and down the gears. It's pretty fun, actually. Alright, let me get my auto parts. I'm at a stop sign here waiting for traffic to clear. You don't necessarily have to start the engine with it in gear, but it makes it a little smoother. I'll show you how jerky it is if you don't use the clutch at all. I got an opening coming. Here we go. Just hit the gas and go. Piece of Home sweat home. Well, that was an adventure. Cost me 85 bucks for the part. Nah. I had to buy these set of needle files. They were cheap, 5 bucks. And then I went ahead and splurged on a little bit better pump. This is a vacuum pump because I got a brake job on my van coming up too, and I'd rather use this, and this takes a lot of the work out of the bleeding. You still have to touch them up, but I went ahead and splurged on it. Seems like I'm doing brakes all the damn time. So 100 something bucks. I'm gonna run in, grab some lunch, and then if you want to wait here, I'll come out and start wrenching on it, see if we can get it fixed real quick. Be right back. Alright, here we go. Well, the first thing you're going to need is a flashlight, because I don't even know if I can get you up in there. There is a pin right there. Cotter pin you got to pull out and slide it off that rod that hooks to the clutch pedal. So let me do that. We'll get on with the replacement. Alright, I got you situated about the best I can do. First thing I'm going to do is use this new pump to suck the old fluid out, and then I'll put that in the original container, take it to the auto parts for recycle. Take my advice, wear rubber gloves. I figured if this brake fluid is powerful enough to strip paint, automotive paint, off a firewall, then it's probably not too good for your skin. Think? That's cool, the pump's working. Doesn't have a lot of suction, but apparently it's enough. It's sucking the fluid. Oh, there we go. I had to get the canister up right. Now it's working much better. Alright, here's most of the fluid out. You can unscrew the cap and actually put a seal cap on it, but there's not much in there, so I'm just going to leave it for now. So, it takes a 1/2 inch wrench and usually the factory nuts are the jam type nuts, so they have resistance all the way out. I've seen mine have been replaced with just regular nuts, so it shouldn't be that hard. I think a ratchet wrench would be nicer, because they're kind of hard to get at. Alright, let me get these off and then I'll turn you back on. Alright, I got it taken off the firewall. Right here is the tube that runs your slave cylinder down the bottom by the actual clutch. Right here there's a drift pin you got to pop out to reuse this tube, because my new one didn't come with the new tube. So you have to pop that drift pin out, use a drift pin punch. Don't try a pointy nail, because it will spread it out and then it will just keep getting tighter and tighter. Let me get that on, I'll turn you back on. Well, I'll tell you what, this is not the most convenient location, but I got a little brass hammer. It's got some weight, so doesn't take much of a swing, and it actually slid out pretty easy. Got it. The kit I got supplied a new one and a new O-ring for this piece right here, but I'm going to pop that out and clean it up. to make sure it fits back in the new one. And I get a good seal. I lost me big pliers. Found them. See if I can pop that up. There we go. Out with the old, in with the new. This does have a rubber boot on it. I'll hang on to that for a minute to make sure I don't need it on the new one. They should provide it, I would hope. This actually looks in pretty good shape. I don't see really no rust. It almost looks like it's brass, but it may be just discoloration. So I'll get that O-ring off there, lubricate the new one and roll it on there, and should be able to get the new part right back in there. BRB. Well, I tell you what, for getting O-rings out, my little $5 set of hooks sure has come in handy. I can't tell you how many times I've used these things. You ever seen these in a hardware store? $5 bin, pick them up, you'll use them, guaranteed. Had a hook to straight, I don't know, a couple other shapes, but they're a must for getting little O-rings out and stuff. Clean out my groove. Alright, I'll get my new O-ring on there, and we'll proceed to step whatever. Yeah, that was real nice. I'm putting on the new O-ring, and guess who shot it across the engine block? Just like a rubber band. And guess what? I crawled under the Jeep and actually found it. So I used my little hook to install it also, so if it slipped again it wouldn't go shooting. Alright, let me get the master cylinder bolted to the firewall, and then we can plug in that hose and carry on. Alright, for real? Okay, how many of you Jeep guys were laughing their butt off at me? Yeah. I totally tilted the hood all the way back against the roof. Just make sure it ain't going to hit your windshield, and it's like somebody just turned on the light and I can get at everything. I hate when that happens. And oh, by the way, note to y'all and to myself, I didn't put the hose in before I mounted it to the firewall. It is near impossible to put it on while it's mounted, so I had to take it back off the firewall and the clutch pedal, and you actually have to tap that fitting just a hair to get that O-ring to seat in there before you can get the cheaper than crap roll pin to slide in. And I got it started, and then I squeezed it in with a pair of channel locks. Worked pretty good. But yeah, I totally added about 15-20 minutes to the project. And on the bottom bolt, I can actually fit a ratchet with an extension on it, which makes it a lot easier. Don't over tighten, because the unit I got here is all plastic, so I'm sure it would break. There's a foam pad on the back to make the seal on the firewall, so I'm just snugging it real good. And I got lock washers, well, first flat washer and then a lock washer, so it should be okay. I'll check it periodically. But I noticed the way the inside is set up, I don't even think I'm going to be able to use that vacuum tube unless I can, you know what I could do? I could take my old cap and drill a hole in the top of it. And actually there is a breather hole above that rubber. I might do that. I'll take my old cap and drill a hole in the top, and then I can get one of the pieces they gave me with the pump to fit right in there, and then vacuum the whole dang thing. Let me try that. I'll get back with you in a minute. Alright, show you what I come up with. I took the old top, drilled a hole in it, you can see the daylight through it, and this particular fitting fits in there real tight. And then I took the old rubber gasket and cut the center out, so this will still make a seal under the lid, and then I can pull the vacuum, I hope. Let me get that going and I'll turn you back on with the results. Alright, I was getting trouble to have the vacuum pump work. I was just squeezing it with my hand. I had to double check all the seals, make sure the lid was on tight to the little reservoir. And what I had to actually do is put it against here and just pump it like nobody's business. And now it's holding pressure, or negative pressure. So I'm just going to let that hang for a while, see if I can pull some of the air out of the line, and then we should be good to go. If not, I'll be on my belly underneath, bleeding it from the bottom. Fingers crossed. Well, there you go. It worked. Woohoo! I have a clutch back. Of course, I'm stuck in my own driveway, but that's a piece of cake. Alright, hope this helped. A little driving with no clutch. And we'll see you on the next one. Play nice.